Good morning. I'd like to take you through our Surveil platform today. Surveil is your leading deep dive AI analytics engine, and it is centered purely around your Microsoft environment. So we're a company that focuses on Azure and M365 only. And we don't get sidetracked with any other information. The depth of the platform requires dedicated focus on the Microsoft platforms. So it is a SaaS-based service. Access is read-only, so we only ever do read-only to your information, so you never have to worry about us being able to damage your environment. We don't need administrative access to your environment. Again, read-only based data. In general, you can see on the screen, Surveil does a couple of things in those environments, Azure and M365. Number one, it'll optimize your environments. So, let's go and have a look at your cost. Let's make sure there is no wastage. Let's get that value in there. Let's look at adoption. Are you getting your maximum return on investment there? And is your company getting the productivity it needs? And it's even got engines in there like joiners, leavers, and that. So we will actually help you identify where those financial overspends are, but also from a security point of view where you've got a lot of probably your highest level of security risk. We do a lot around security for both 365 and Azure. And certainly we cover all of the device and identity management security for 365. And on the Azure side, a lot of corporate governance as well, legal, regulatory, security, etc. And then last but not least, around control, you can use the platform for smart decision making. You've got an alert engine to tell you when things are going wrong or changing, or whether it's based around finances, whether it's based around security, adoption. You choose, if somebody's a new joiner or there's a new device that's been provisioned, you can get your alerts coming into your system management tools or into your email inboxes. Just technically, it is a SaaS service. It's all entirely hosted in Azure. We have well over 80 APIs connected in the back end. We use both a UI for our analytics for the more real-time analytics, and Power BI is refreshed every single night. There's well over 200 Power BI dashboards within the platform, giving you some really informative and graphically, visually really good looking dashboards. And again, as mentioned, we are both an Azure and an M365 platform. We're not multi-cloud. We focus purely on Microsoft to get to the levels of details that we need. We provide the highest levels of details. So let me take you into a demo of the platform. So here we have Surveil, a SaaS environment. As a partner, you can white label this if you want to. As a customer, we fully support multi-tenant. So if you have multiple tenants, we can even bring those together into one consolidated report for you. It is read-only, as I said. The onboarding for you is going to be run about, once we've gone through the legals and contractuals, it's going to be about 15 minutes from a technical onboarding perspective for 365 as well as for Azure. So onboarding is really simple. It's a one-off exercise, and everything you'll see in the platform comes from that onboarding. And again, it is read-only access to your environment. All authentication is done through Azure AD, so we don't store any passwords. We leverage your Azure AD, and you're always in control of being able to switch us off, right, if you want to go in. Everything when I log in is role-based, so I'm going to be going in as an administrator. You're going to see a lot of different menus, but it could just be one menu item with one report, a C-level dashboard or something like that. So I'm going to log in, and I'm presented with a number of companies that I have access to. So these could be multiple tenants as a customer, and as a partner, these could be partner companies that you're helping to manage. And you'll see the speed of access. I'm just going to go into one of them, and I'm straight into the environment. And looking at the overview of the Microsoft environment, you're seeing some dashboards on Azure, 365, risk and governance. You'll see on the left-hand side a number of areas. Azure, CSP, if you're a provider, we provide a lot of CSP-based direct and indirect reporting and management. And of course, as an end customer, Azure, Office 365, we've got an alert engine. There's a lot around risk and governance. And in the administration area, something to mention is because we are read-only, we have our own built-in AI tagging engine. This is essential to give you proper business-based reporting. So do you want to see it by division, by department, by company, by region? We use our AI tagging engine. We draw the information from your Azure AD, hidden attributes, attributes, Active Directory grouping information, Azure tagging, Azure resources, and we build a really clean view of that whole environment. So let me jump straight into Office 365, and I'm going to take you to a typical analytics dashboard. You'll see here that you're getting an overview of your environment. I'm in the overview menu, and it's just going to tell you everything about your environment, the numbers of companies you have, the organization, how many accounts you have, which ones are enabled, which ones aren't enabled, and we cover a whole suite of information, whether it is around Office application usage, whether it's around any one of those 70 odd license SKUs you get within an M5 license. We will break down activity around each one of those, right? We don't just focus on Exchange, SharePoint, Team, Yammer, those sort of typical ones. And just to show you the power of our AI tagging engine, I can go in here and say, let's say by employee type or anything like that, but let's say by line of business, I want to see this just for contact center services, and everything will update just for contact center services. So really easy. You might want to export that. You might want to use it for internal cost allocations or just for filtering by different business groups to see what's going on. Maybe another example is the Office applications, and you can see here you've got Teams, Outlook, and that. If I click on Teams, I can see that it's being used, so many on the desktop, so many on web, and so many on mobile. And in most of the dashboards, you can drill through and get into individual user details and who's using them and drill through. So the rest of the area really covers a lot of your devices, security, location, by tenants, joiners and leavers. I'll go through that in a second. And so you've got a good overview, and each one of those will have more detailed reports within the platform. Just on the FinOps side, there is a lot around your existing costs and that. I'll just show you one example here. This is really wonderful. Any EA customers out there, this is showing your EA accurate EA. It's showing your future costs, your committed licensing, your reservations coming through, and that famous true up that you always have to get given at the end of the year. You will see this every day because we automatically pick up when reservations and things are being made. So complete easy way to manage your 3-year EA. Of course, no platform would be complete without extensive recommendations. So I'm going to take you into the UI side of our platform first. And here you can see any one of up to 35 different AI engine rules. But we can show you here our engine automatically pick up inactive users. And it's just not just logins, it's inactivity around any one of those license SKUs within a license pack. So are they using AADP1? No, they're not. And they're not using any other license SKUs, and they're not logging in, therefore they're inactive. And you can get the details of the users, disabled accounts that could be converted to shared mailboxes or removed. Typically this could be distribution lists, joiners, leavers, or just converted to shared mailboxes or exchange only, i.e. printers. So the engine will go and pick up automatically where there's not normal human behavior. And there's of course recommendations around domestic dial call plans, audio conferencing, etc. So extensive savings. What you will see is typically across the platform, we will give you between 18 and 37% saves. In this demo environment, what you're seeing here is a little bit of a higher take on this. It's a demo environment, so there's a lot of free licenses in here, but it's showing 71 to 82% spend reduction. As I say, this will typically be 18 to 36% at first connection into your environment. We have a lot of information on devices. You can tag these devices, so you can say a particular desktop or a mobile or whatever belongs to marketing division. Similar for the groups, you can put the group information in there and see all the information around groups. And also things like, which teams groups are active, which ones are inactive, and we'll tag that for you. So it's very easy to really clean up your environment here. You can see these groups haven't been active for 541 days. This is a Teams created group, and you can see what kind of storage, emails, etc. have been sent or received from those. In the same way, you can get into your users. I'm just going to click into one of our other environments, and you can see the user list here. And if I can click on any one of these, I can see information about the users and when last they used Power BI service or Graph Explorer or Microsoft Azure billing. So that's your cloud apps, or maybe even which of your sub SKUs are you using in the platform. So when last did you use AADP1? All that type of thing can be in there, and you've got extensive filtering, very quick and easy then to be able to identify non-active users with licenses. And you'll see here as it updates, you'll see there's £564 that you could save, and you can just export that to and PowerShell that into your environment. So really quick and easy to get that. We have an extensive area around adoption, and typically this will be business-based adoption. So how are you using Teams? Where aren't you using Teams would be a great example. But it could be any number of adoption statistics. So you'll see here, for example, any around the Power Apps, Power Flow, Office applications. I'm just going to go into Teams. You'll see a full year or more trending, depending how long the platform has been running for you. And I might even want to get into a more detailed line of business review. And I can go and see Teams meeting count per active user per day. So you're getting benchmarking in here really that no one else has got. So the average company, one Teams meeting per user per day. And you could go and look into a particular area and see just, how is it compare in Lithuania compared to South Africa. So very actionable. You really understand where you've got adoption issues. Call quality is all around on Teams. So we have our Teams Insights module, a lot of call quality information. And in there, you can go and troubleshoot your calls. Your help desk can do it, read-only access, and you can even get into user experience analytics and really understand in depth where your call quality issues are coming from. Is it Wi-Fi? By which business? By which lines? By which country? By which regions? So you've really got extensive planning in here, and you can go into poor call quality is good call quality and really dig in and see and understand where your core quality issues are. I'm just going to flick back to our UAT. In planning, you've got a number of areas. This is where you would go when you're renegotiating your EA or CSP, a lot of different areas of planning, including our latest release, which is our NCE dashboards. And on NCE, you've got extensive planning. What do you have today? What makes sense to cut across to 1-year commit, 3-year commit? And how does that impact you financially if you make those commitments and if you don't make those commitments? So you've got various optimization opportunities that you first want to optimize your licenses before you commit those licenses to plans, and you can look at your volatile licenses and look at your investment returns. In a similar way, we have a security assessment dashboard. This is wonderful just to go and get a snapshot of your environment, really understand where your security issues are, both at a high level. So we'll start with things like your secure score and look at that in detail, and then we can drill down into it. You've got extensive levels of detail. You can see exactly how to improve it. You can look at something called security at a glance, where really you're going to see those summaries in different areas, whether you're looking at insider threat management, conditional access, authentication methods, mobile apps, MFA, which accounts have MFA, which ones don't, which administrators are using, how many admin roles have you got, you name it, how many stale devices have you got. And of course, you've got drill down by going into any one of these, and you can start seeing I've got 282 devices, 161 are stale, 67 are Intune managed, of which 43 are non-compliant. So just drill down into compliance and everywhere else. And maybe last just to mention is our modern workplaces dashboards, and this will really get you deep into all of the information around your home workers, who's working from home, who isn't working from home, what applications are they using, which ISPs do they have. You could even get every single telco that your company is using, both at home and in the office, will automatically be picked up from that initial 5-minute onboarding. So a lot of information around that, what applications will be using on what devices. So this really helps you to improve productivity in your company, maybe get some great deals with certain telcos because you see they're the biggest telco users, give some exclusive packages to your staff, both for home and office use. That's a broad overview of 365. Of course, I've just shown you a few dashboards. There's many, many more, hundreds, at least 100 more dashboards to get you into the detail that you need. But hopefully that gives you a really good view on how we do identity management, including, of course, we will identify for you who your joiners, leavers, and that are. And you can get that through an alert engine, both across 365 and across Azure. Tell me when there's new joiner leaver accounts, or tell me when a certain account spend goes over 50. Tell me when sales and marketing spends more than $100 a month, for example. You can send those alerts to your service management platforms or to your emails. Just a brief overview of Azure then, just getting into that. Again, we start off with that overview, and in the overview we'll show you just that. You can see your expenditure over the last month. You can see which are your big contributing expenditures, which subscriptions are contributing those, which services are contributing those, and really, in the different areas you can hover over and it'll show you more detail on those. The top sort of business areas, sales and marketing are the biggest user. There's a platform called FinTech Test Systems that is probably the biggest cost, or if you click onto virtual machines, you can see which subscriptions are them and how they're growing day by day, week by week. You can get into daily summaries. And so you can get, this is really a lot of procurement information, but maybe I'll take you straight into our FinOps dashboards. And here for procurement, you've got all that information you've traditionally been missing across your environment. You've got 150 subscriptions. How's expenditure happening across those? Where are the growing areas? What are the top contributors? Who created the resources? Maybe I want to look at this for the last 12 months. And very quickly, I can understand here that the bulk of my costs are in sales and marketing. And why did I get 2.33K? So quite a substantial increase in March. And I can see mainly due to Power BI and get it embedded gateways or things like that. Of course, we have extensive management of your RIs. You can do, I'm just going to go straight into them. And you can plan your RIs. You can see what the utilization has been, what their performance has been. We've got an extensive planning area in our optimization menus around what services you should move to RI or not. And of course, forecasting, we've got AI-based forecasting. You can do forecasting per month, per year, various types of forecasting you choose. And this will really help you get on top of even seasonal. If you're a company that has a lot of seasonal ups and downs, you can get those kinds of forecasting in there. What I'll do next is I'll take you to the Azure side of recommendations, similar kind of savings. And here it's very quick and easy to get to them. We've got a number of different areas, and I can go straight into see idle services, and maybe I can see here there's a particular a VM that's been recommended. I can go in there, I can find out everything about it, all the tags that have been provided to it, the Azure information about it, and I can write down into CPU, network in, out, and I can get into discrete bytes, whatever you want to get with, again, read-only access. You're not having to log into that Azure environment. Your analysts can do this. CISOs, HR, finance, whoever needs to access the platform can be logged in and accessing the data, and they're no longer reliant on IT providing this information to them. So if I just go back to summary recommendations, you can get into analytics. And you can see here we have a number of areas. We cover 8 substantial areas of saving, far, far more extensive than Microsoft or any of them provide. And you can see some typical ones here like CSP, reserved instances, whether it's EA or CSP, hybrid benefit, over idle services, databases, etc. Zombie resources, which ones of things are sitting out there that are not being used, storage optimization, VM optimization, things like SQL resizing, VM resizing, UAT dev workloads. You can get a much better discount from Microsoft. And so you'll be able to get into extensive savings opportunities using this platform. Some of our latest additions, we've got an extensive planner around Kubernetes clusters, what the clusters are. You can tag those clusters, details of them, what's being utilized. Same thing for Databricks. So you're right in there, you can get your savings, and you've got all the cost information and details that you need across the platform. Equally, on the risk and governance side of Microsoft Azure, number one, you can, of course, go and see your health status relevant to you, what services up and running straight from Microsoft in here. Again, read only, you don't need to log into Microsoft environments. But for example, on governance, this has taken extensive work. There's a lot of APIs that feed this information, but you'll be looking at a number of areas like regulatory governance, and maybe you want to look at it, using the tagging. You may want to look at how does that look just for a particular type of environment, or maybe by risk impact, and you want to say, how does this look just for my high risk environments, right? More relevant than maybe test environments and things like that. So all your regulatory standards are in there that are relevant. You might be looking at policies, what policies have applied, which ones haven't got any policies against them, which particular resource are there policies against. Regulatory compliance have gone through. You've got the Azure Secure Score as well, extensive area to look at. Maybe you want to see where have we not applied system updates, just as an example. And you straight away can see, and you can right click, drill down, get into the information. You can map your secure score to policies as well. You can look at your blueprints. You can look at naming standards. It's a great way to go and pick up what's existing tagging naming standards and then use our tagging engine to clean those up. Again, you don't need to go and write to Azure to do that. And equally on the infrastructure and security side of Azure, a lot of really good technical information. whether you might be looking at things like role-based access, and remember we've got the 365 side of it as well, so you can really drill into that, which admins are there, what access rights do they have. You could be looking at networking. Here's one view of all of your virtual networks across all of your subscriptions, what your VNet pairings are. That takes a lot of time for any consultant to go and gather information on. You might want to look at your network service groups and network security groups, my apologies. And here you can see exactly across your entire environment what ports are open, what are closed, etc. And of course, Kubernetes. I've spoken about some of that detailed information we can get on Kubernetes, whether it's in cost optimization. You can tag your Kubernetes clusters, so you can say that particular area, that entire cluster with everything associated with it is the SAP ECC environment, and we need to charge that to the design division or manufacturing or whatever it might be. A lot of information about RBAC, IS usage, and maybe some of the RBAC service principles, of course, very important as well. And you can see some of your resource summaries over here as well. So you can start looking at virtual networks. Resource maps is a great way for you to go and say, right, how do I, under a particular VM, what are all the different mappings to there, what NSGs are they using, etc. So everything available in the platform by default. The pricing is structured around modules, really cost effective, and I hope that you've enjoyed this demonstration of our Surveil environment, and we're really excited with a lot of the new features that are going to be coming out in the future as well. Thank you.